All right. Well, it's 4:05 and I said we'd start about 4:05. So I think we'll go ahead and get started. Welcome everybody. My name is Mark Branham and I am the faculty member in charge of the Technest program. And what we have on the agenda for today is to talk about our program and talk about how you can go about signing up for the classes and what the classes are and all of that kind of fun and exciting stuff. So the overall plan for today is that Dr. Lena Tran is going to talk for a few minutes about the history of the program. We've invited Greg Waters from the CEO of Microfacturing Institutes to come and talk a little bit about how the industry is collaborating with us. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about CIS 106. And oops, that wasn't supposed to be duplicated. Sanjay will talk a little bit about CIS 107 and the data analytics classes. Cecil Lawson is the professor in charge of CIS 108, the Internet of Things. He's also going to talk about entrepreneurship and the entrepreneurship class that he'll be teaching in the fall. And then both Kadani and I will talk about the Google IT professional classes. And then we have Ben Granger and Julie Nguyen to talk about counseling, and Michael Castro will talk about the admissions and records stuff. So we've got a lot of really great, exciting things that we have on the agenda for today. So Lena, I'll pass it on to you.
Great. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. Before I move on, I do want to say thank you so much to Mark for putting this together. So Mark is now our indirectly coordinating for the Technest program. And I do say from the bottom of my heart, it's one of our programs that we are so proud of. And it is really born out of the idea, how do we close that skill gap, right? How do we allow our students to get in high earning, high wages, technical program that allow a student to be able to get the job? And can you please mute everyone, Mark? Thank you. Yeah. So the idea is that how do we are able to have our student get a high earning, high wages, but also not have to wait 2 years. So Technest is the idea of accelerated training. And so as you can see, all the topic we cover is current. You're talking about Python, data science, IoT, and we're moving into with Microsoft, building out the curriculum for artificial intelligence and clouding. So the history of the program is our dear chancellor, former president, really said, I want to provide the best for our students. So you'll know that our first program, Python, is actually MIT. So you are actually doing the MIT vigorous work and getting credit for at a community college fraction of the cost per se. But as Mark Sanjay, Kadani, Cecil, our championing faculty, you will see that the program is really meant, and we do recruit women, underrepresented, people of color, low income. These are the individuals that say, you know what, I think IT is the way, but I don't think I can make it. I don't know anything about IT. I have no clue. Is this something applicable to me or not? And you will see from your day one class with Mark, for Python, that they really break down IT in a way that you can understand what he called lane languages, right? And then they'll go into the detail, but because of Python Technest, when I came to San Jose City College, we augment along with the faculty, and we are fully articulated with UC Berkeley for the data science course. So it is a 3-unit that is articulated at UC, And the UC faculty do work with our faculty. They do come down, visit the classroom, and Sanjay will share with that. And we do have field trip when you go to UC and you're actually sitting in the classroom of folks who are taking the data science courses. So that is something that's very motivational, because I truly believe that our student, everybody have different realities, but your ability is the same, giving opportunities, support, and a way that makes you successful with our faculty and how they teach the classes for you. And Greg will share with you, but Greg Walter is a Fortune 500 CEO. His company got bought out, and now he started the Microfracture Institute. But Greg is our truly champion, our first partnership, and we cannot do Technest without Greg. And Greg and his team was so kind and still go on. So Greg came in and helped us with Seesaw, his faculty for Internet of Things, and they will share with you. You will actually build prototypes and you will pitch in front of, well, then Greg and his team, and an opportunity to show you the class. On top of that, we believe that for Technest, you have the opportunity to say, hey, I can go out there. I want to build my own company. So Cecil will talk a little bit about the intro to entrepreneurship and business. So now we get the part of the curriculum. You're going to get the support. You're going to get the curriculum. And then you're like, Lena, but what else? We also provide you, and Julie and Ben will tell you, the counseling. So in this sense, this is your guided pathway. And your guided pathway Technest is essentially an entry-level job in IT focused around all your learning will accommodate into Python in different areas. So you're able to get that entry-level job, okay? And they'll explain that. In addition to that, we have Stephen Lee, who is our job developer. So on day one, we already working with you on your resume, your profile, and because Greg is still working, we'll be honest, right? Greg will share with you, given the pandemic, the apprenticeship and internship is going to take time to ramp up. But we're working with you. So even if you have other job opportunity, day one, you already are looking for employment opportunities. So Steve will work with you on your resume, your follow-up cover letter, your email, your interview, and any opportunity within the workforce that will give you. And Work to Future also support that. In addition, please don't forget, we have tutoring. We have specialized tutoring. We also have, we understand we have, we call transportation lift. So one day we believe that a student might not be able to get a car, go to interview, and you might need the emergency lift. So we provide that. We also have a strong partnership with JCPenney and Target, but Target's moving away for our career closet. So you're able to outfit as you go on an interview for that you need. And also if you need other services that could be pertain to food, basic need, housing, please reach out to either Christian Dismon, and I also see our dean here, J. Edward Stevenson, or any of our members, Julie, even your own faculty. So having said that, I have about 3 minutes. I'm not gonna lie to you. If you don't have a technology, it's not like anything new, right? It's gonna be difficult. But what I can guarantee you is that we don't set up programs so our student will fail. Because I know students have said to me, Lena, this is great, but please don't set up a program where it's audacious and I don't know how to code and I come in there. Then what we did is we didn't do our job. Essentially, we put your motivation even lower, right? Because if we've set a program, so know that our commitment is for you to be successful. And that's the reason why when you hear our faculty and our partner, they are chosen for a reason, because they are teaching the class where they know what is critical, because they've been in the workplace, they see what it is. And then I always say, merge that apply with our theory, which I call the body of knowledge. So please, I know at time, our realities is family, challenges, loved one, health, mental, pandemic, you name it, right? Please reach out for us. You're here today because you already have a commitment to say, I want to learn more about program. I'm interested in the program. So please stay with us. I know it's a packed schedule. If you have questions that didn't get answered, or maybe you embarrassed or for whatever reason you don't want to ask, please follow up with Christian. Mark oversees this. So that they will answer you. I just see a quick chat. Our program is very successful. It ran since 2016. Right now, when we do the data, we have over 600 students plus more. So those are the things. And our graduation rate is above 80. Our employment is up 85. And then I have a minute. So then I honor time because I understand Zoom fatigue and all that. The other good thing is MIT is also growing. So right now, I am working with MIT. They secure a grant with the Walmart Foundation. And guess what? We're going to do credentialing. And Technest is the first program that we're going to launch. So it could be our incoming cohort or our seniors. So what is credentialing batching? So just imagine you finish taking the class with Mark, and Mark has said, oh, you know what? Lena knows Python. Now we're able to capture that data so you can show your employee, potential employer or current employer to say, you know that, so you can move within your, career movement. So having that said, that Mark, I'm very good. It is 4:15, and I want to introduce you to Greg Walters. Like I said, everybody, we are very lucky, privileged to have Greg, a champion of Technest since the day I met Greg until now. And Greg is smiling, but we really try hard to grow Technest and move it. Even Greg was part of the big apprenticeship program. So Greg, thank you so much for being here with us. And please share your, all your expertise, Greg. Thank you.
Well, I will, Lena. Thank you very much. And I appreciate, I don't think I deserve that introduction, but I do appreciate it. So thank you.
Thank you. I hope I appreciate it too.
Yeah, sure. You're welcome. Listen, here's what we do. I'll give back a few minutes out of this, but I represent more of the industry side of this. We have been working with Technest, with Lena, and with every single instructor. We know all of the instructors, the core people of the Technest program. And Technest, I believe, started, as Dr. Tran said, in 2016. We have been working with Technest since 1 year later, 2017, so 4 years now. And to very good effect. And let me explain. We, myself and other people, Microfacturing Institutes is a public charity, but it is staffed by volunteers and people from the hiring managers of the tech industry in this area. And the reason we came to San Jose City College in 2017 is we were growing very fast. And we had many job opportunities that really required this type of skills, but not necessarily the fancy degree. There is always demand for bachelor's, for master's, and things like computer science, data science, many types of engineering. And those are great. If you have that opportunity to do those types of degrees, we encourage you. But there are a lot of cool jobs that require more of a skill-based type training. And in some cases, that training can be done much quicker and very affordably. And we really felt like we found that in Technest. And every year, Technest keeps getting better. So here's my message to all of you evaluating this program. We have been working with the City College, as I mentioned, for 4 years. The instructors are first rate. You'll find that they are very passionate, very experienced. Many of them have experience inside and outside of industry as well as education. And one of the best things and most exciting things about Technest is that you can do this program in not too long a time. This is really a great thing about the program. Depending on your own schedule, whether it takes 1 year to get the certificate or a little longer, This is a very affordable and I think valuable program. So listen, my encouragement is this: check out the program. It has many years running right now, and I think is quite successful. We in the industry side are very enthusiastic about this, and I really dare you to find more motivated and talented instructors than what you will find in this program. If you're just testing it out and taking a course, that's great. That will help you, and no problem. I really encourage you to get their certificate. And there are a couple, Mark will explain later, there's a couple of levels of the certificate. But I think the certificate is really your ticket to coming into having lots of job opportunities, not just one or two. So with that, this is our 4th year. We expect we'll be back next year for our 5th year. I'll turn it over to Mark to explain the program a little more detail, but it's been a great run, and I hope it keeps going.
Thank you so much, Greg. All right. So what I wanted to talk a little bit about is, first of all, if you are interested in joining our stuff, the first thing that you really need to do is you need to fill out our little Technest form that is it's I call it an assessment, but it's not really an assessment. It's really more of a, what exactly are you interested in taking? And we'll talk a little bit more about that in a little bit, but I put in the links there. The link is right here. I also created a little QR code. So if you wanted to just use the QR code, you can use the QR code to go straight to the form. And that's how, for the CIS 106 and 107 and 108 classes, that's the only way really that you can enroll in the class, is to fill out and to click on either the link or to click on the QR code. So the Technest courses themselves, these are the courses that kind of make up the Technest certificates. So we have CIS 106, which is a introduction to computer programming. It's the class that I teach. I'll talk a little bit more about that in a moment. But the primary thing about it is that it is designed both for beginners as well as for experienced programmers who have not used Python recently. So if you are, you've taken C++, you've taken Java, you're an experienced programmer, but you really have never taken Python, this is a perfect class for you. If you have never taken any computer science courses, this is the perfect class for you. And really it's designed to tell you and to show you all about how, not only how to program, but also how computers think, and how computer programmers need to think in order to really succeed in their fields. The second class in the Technest program is the CIS 107, which is the data science class. In order to succeed in the data science class, you really, really, really do need to have a solid background in Python programming. So if you haven't taken a Python class, you really need to take you really should be taking CIS 106 first. And if you've taken like 24C recently, but then I would say it's probably going to be good enough. But if it's been a while, then really you should take CIS 106 as the first class. I mentioned on here that sometimes students take 106 at the same time as they take 107. The problem with that is that both 106 and 107 are very intensive classes. And so really, I would recommend doing 106 first and then taking 107. Although if you have extreme, experience in computer programming, then I would say it probably would be okay to do 106 and 107 at the same time. For the CIS 108, which is the Internet of Things, unfortunately, we're not going to be offering it in the fall, but we will be offering it in the spring. And so you could take either 106 with 108 at the same time. That one, it turns out, is all right. Business 68 is the Entrepreneurship and Small Business Management class, and that is the class that kind of is used to bring together all of the 4 components of our Technest program. And then later on, we'll talk a little bit about business and data analytics, as well as the Google IT professional classes. Let's see here. The other thing that I wanted to mention about about our certificate is that there are 2 different levels in the certificate. We have the level 1 certificate, which you can complete in approximately 1 year. And that requires you to take CIS 106, CIS 107, CIS 108, and Business 68. The level 2 certificate requires you to take all of those courses, plus Business 82, which is the Introduction to Business, as well as one other course in either some other course in computer science. So whether you're more interested in programming, you might want to take one of the other programming courses that we offer. If you're more interested in data analysis and data science, you might want to take one of the data courses. If you're more interested in how computers are actually put together, you might want to take one of our other CIS courses. And if you're more interested in the business side of things, you can take a business class as well. So those make up the level 1 certificate as well as the level 2 certificate. So that's the stuff that I really had wanted to talk about. What I wanted to do at this point then is to pass it on to Sanjay to talk a little bit more about the CIS 108 class. And I thought that I had a slide deck for you, but I seem to be missing it right at the moment. So why don't I turn off my share and I will find it. So
yeah, it was there in the slides that you sent out earlier.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to it. So I will resolve that and bring that up momentarily. But while I'm doing that, why don't you go ahead and start talking about the 108, and I'll 107,
Sure.
and I'll bring it up.
Sure thing. Let me just put it up on my side so I can see that. Okay. I'm just going to forward it to you just in case. So it should be on top of your email. And let me open it up on my side. Okay. All right. Do you mind if I share my screen?
Yeah, go ahead and share your screen.
Okay. So hopefully you guys can see my screen. So once again, I mean, On behalf of SJCC, I wanted to welcome you all again for this orientation. We've been doing some really innovative things in this area, especially with Technest and pioneering a lot of things in this area. So it's really great to share all of this with you. Mark mentioned, so the way that I would like you all to look at it is, as Lena had mentioned, this is a pathway. This is a pathway for you to find a job in the technology space. Spending as little time as possible, just in the course material. And what I mean by that is that the reason for Technest is sort of like is the shortest path for you to get from where you are to a job in the technical field, right? You could be doing a lot of different things, doing C++ and Java and this and that and everything else. But then, we've actually sort of spent the time to curate the courses that we believe are hot. I believe that these are courses that are really sought after, and making them available to you so that, oh, thank you, Mark. Yeah, and making them available to you so that, you don't have to go and do that hard work. So that's just another like basic introduction to what we're trying to do, and also to sort of get you a sense of the journey that we are taking you on, right? So we're trying to make you more and more skilled, starting off with Python, which is sort of a basic necessity in order for you to be successful, whether as a data scientist, whether in the field of IoT, right? Or, Python is sort of this Swiss Army knife, right? You can do many things with Python. And, the course that Mark's going to teach with CIS 106 gets you that. And I think folks have been asking on chat, yes, 24C gives you the same background that you would get with 106. So that would also, meet that requirement to do the next level courses. So the next course, right, after Python is CIS 107. And CIS 107 is a Foundations in Data Science course. It is a course that's articulated by UC Berkeley, and it's their Data 8 course. And what it gives you is that it puts you on a path where you get to a point in your journey where you can look at all of those opportunities in data science that are ahead for you. For example, if you take data science today, data science consists of like statistical analysis. That's one part. Then there's big data, where you're just dealing with tons and tons of data, and how do you get to to collect that data and structure that data and make it available in a way that it can be analyzed. Then there's machine learning, which again puts you on a journey of machine learning and artificial intelligence. And then there's data visualization, which puts you on a track where you can actually, as a business analyst, come in and make the data tell a story, right? So this course provides you a lot of that those foundations in statistics and data visualization, in in machine learning and so on. So it's a really great course, and it's a really good next step once you're done with your with your 106. So and this course is being it takes place Friday, Saturday. We try to structure it so that folks, especially folks who are working, are going to be able to take this. So it's on Friday evenings and Saturday afternoons. And we would we would love to have this in person if it is possible, otherwise versus Zoom, and the timings are mentioned there. So if you could please move to the next slide. Yeah. So the other certificate program that we are offering in partnership with PathStream and with Silicon Valley Bank and Tableau and all of these are really great companies that are out there, is this business and data analytics program. And this program does not have a prerequisite. In a sense, you don't have to complete Python, you don't have to complete CIS 107 to do this. And just to take a step back, the reason we have these courses is because we are trying to get our students to be as much in touch with programming as we can, because sometimes students get done with 106 and 107 and they keep asking, like, Sanjay, what's next? Right? Mark, what's next? Right? Is there something else that we can do while we're looking for a job? Right? And so this was our attempt to sort of bring in more of those real world skills that will once again help you be successful, as you embark on a data science, in a job in the data science field. And the 4 courses that you're going to be taught here, the first one is essentially an introduction to business and data analytics course. So this is what would make you a business analyst. So business analysts are folks who come into a company and they look at the numbers, they make sense of the numbers, they generate insight. Like, for example, how is Tesla going to be doing next quarter based on the results that they have today? What are those risks that they should be mindful of? So they generate insight and then they present them in a form that is easy to consume. Right. So the first course sort of teaches you a lot of that. We work with Google spreadsheets and show you how you can use Google spreadsheets to sort of generate that insight. The really beautiful thing about all the courses here is that they're very practical. I mean, some of the courses that you've probably seen maybe in the past are very textbook, where you have examples that are great, but they don't translate into real life, right? I mean, what you're going to find with every one of these courses, including the 107, 106 courses, is that, every example that you get here is real world data. I mean, in 120, 122, 123, 124, you're actually going to be working with real data, like not dummy data, real data. And every one of these courses is going to involve project work, where you're actually going to be, going on this journey of exploring the data, generating insight, presenting the data, coming up and presenting in a form that can be consumed by executives. So the first one is basically just introducing you to those basic data analytics skills. The second one is another great program where we talk about SQL and data analytics. Now, most of you are familiar with SQL, or folks who have done the CIS 037 course. Right. So this course introduces structured query language and programming to you, right? But one of the things that people don't realize is that big data, right? Big data over the past 10 years, people have used all kinds of technologies to generate insight from big data, right? So if you take the world of databases, right, you have SQL and you have NoSQL. SQL is structured query language, and it's all the Oracles, MySQLs, all of these databases, right? Those what we refer to as the relational databases. Then you have NoSQL, which is a different type of data store that doesn't have a relationship, but allows you to store a lot of data and access it really quickly. And the NoSQL data is the data that's basically being used in order to store like a lot of information, because at some point the SQL data doesn't really work. So over the past decades, since big data has been booming, we've been using all kinds of technologies to work with big data. What has happened recently is that because of the vast market or vast number of skill set out there for structured query language of SQL engineers that are already out there, we figured out a way to actually run SQL queries on top of big data, ensuring that entire industry, that entire the skill that's out there in the market can not only work on SQL data, but also on NoSQL data. And that is how SQL ties into the world of big data and data science. So in this course, you're actually going to be working with big data, but using SQL queries in order to try to transform the data and generate insights. So it's a really good course that, again, puts you on that journey of data science. And then the next course is Tableau. We're going to talk about data visualization. Tableau is a really beautiful, wonderful visualization tool that's, again, used in a lot of top companies. Recently got acquired by Salesforce for several $1 billion. So we're actually partnering with Tableau and Pathstream on that. So you'll get you really learn how to look at Tableau, create these dashboards and Tableau stories and all that. And finally, the last one, the program CIS 124 is basically statistical analysis, where we're going to look at a lot of, this is 101 plus. If you've done stat 101, this is your stat 101 plus, where you're going to be looking at all of the stuff that you normally see in your basic statistics course, but you'll learn a lot more. We learn distributions like Poisson and geometric progression and things that don't normally fall under the purview of 101, but everything that is needed in order for you to be able to be a successful data scientist, having all the background that you would need to be successful there. So those are the 4 courses. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. We have class hours every week on Wednesday between 6 to 8. And while earlier we wanted to sort of like have these courses sort of back to back, where we do 120 in the first half of a semester, 122 in the second half, 123 in the following semester first half, and 124 the second half. We're now going to make 120, 122 basically run in parallel each for the whole semester. And then, the next semester will be running 123 and 124 in parallel, but they would all be full semester. So that gives our students a little bit more time, because we found that, trying to just squeeze everything into half a semester is a little bit tedious. So yeah, I mean, so that's about it. Thank you, Mark, for giving me the opportunity to go over that. Any questions? Feel free to ping me on chat. Yeah, thank you.
All right. So the third course in our Technest suite of courses is the CIS 108 class, which is the Technest 3 Internet of Things. And Cecil Lawson is the professor in charge of that. As I said, we're probably not going to be offering that in the fall, but we will be offering it definitely in the spring. Cecil, I don't know if you wanted to use my slide deck or if you wanted to talk or.
No, I found, while you're scurrying, I found one I thought would be useful to sort of explain.
Excellent.
The course. So let me just share my screen here, and it's only a couple of slides. And I was looking at, I think someone asked a question with regards to at least 2 of the courses, and how does that align you for the jobs, for getting an actual job in the industry. And I'll give you a little bit of my background, but I want to give a shout out to Dr. Tran and Mr. Greg Waters. They're kind of, from the outset of this program, of course, others, but really showed the ability to understand the difference between knowledge and what is being emerged as a skills gap, which is when you are in a position to find a job, a high-paying job, that you have to demonstrate certain skills. And part of what we try to do with in IoT is you can look at this colorful slide. We cover a large range of areas, some of which Sanjay just talked about, and these are narrow dives, but they are part of what I would call a full stack of knowledge that you would need in order to break into certain industries. Many are ubiquitous. They apply across the IT industry, the DevOps industry, there are IT ops industry. Others are very specific, and all of them, at least that are listed here, have a foundational understanding that once you understand it, you can choose any and or all of these and call it a career. So one thing I love about the way we teach Technest, the courses, if we add a little bit of reality, what's real, what's happening. We're talking to people in the industry constantly. I am from the industry. I'm a software engineer by trade. I moved into government work several years ago after doing in excess of 23 startups in one form or another, either working there or being an advisor. I'm advising 2 right now. I have gone through IPO. I've written red herrings. I'll explain that in my business class, what I'll talk about in just a minute. But let me talk about the areas that you'll learn in IoT. and how we teach them. They are very much contextualized, which means I don't just give you the information. This is very consistent amongst our courses. But I tell you, for example, in Python programming, sure, I can give you the constructs. I mean, they're nouns and verbs. I can talk to you about the structured software development processes or object methodologies and the difference between the two and why one came after the other. And I'll also show you the family of languages, things that are related to Python languages and other languages such as C++, Visual Basic, something I used to program called Ada, Algol, and hundreds of other languages, and what are the relationships to Python and why Python, this is the important thing, is so important and ubiquitous because it does apply across most things. Not all things, but most things. I can make a case, for example, for C++. I taught that a couple semesters ago, where embedded systems and things that are closer to the hardware, that's a more efficient language. But we talk about where Python comes from, and we cover the basic structure of Python. And we actually use Python in this course. One of the things that all these items that you see on this page will come together is in a capstone project. You will be building an IoT device. And not only will you be building the IoT device, but you'll have the opportunity to present that idea in front of a lot of people. And I think Dr. Tran talked about that earlier as part of that Keeping It Real course, or part of our courses, where this is what actually happens in real life at work. You are part of a team, you work as a team, you contribute as a team, and you present your ideas in a succinct way. The other thing that we teach, certainly not at the degree of the full Python data science course, is data science. We introduce you to data science. We kind of talk about it from a trajectory for machine learning, data science, artificial intelligence, and where it goes to general artificial intelligence, and that trajectory, and many, if not most, of the algorithms that are used in data science. Some of the stacks, when I refer to stacks as the platforms that are used data science is used in order to crunch numbers. I've actually done actual projects in data science for a city in the prediction of crime. So I have a little bit of experience doing that. Cloud services, this is all the rage. I have a lot of experience in cloud services, the big three: Microsoft Azure, AWS, Amazon Web Services, and Google. I've actually deployed DevOps and IT ops within cloud services, but we explain to you the evolution of cloud services, including the ones you probably have never heard of, like UCaaS systems. If you haven't deployed a wireless phone system, that is part of the cloud now, and most things will become part of the cloud, including operating systems. So we talk about that in the context of how is that important to an IoT device, which is very good at running and collecting information. Of course, you store that information, and it's most appropriate to store it in the clouds and efficient to do that. The other fundamental thing that we teach as part of this course is computer networking. And again, everything I'm talking to you about right now, you will use for reals, not just do a test, you'll do that too, but you're going to be using wired and wireless networking, and you'll understand how those work and how they work with IoT devices. We're also going to talk about other networks that you never heard of before and what their applications are. We're going to talk about frequencies. We're going to talk about 2.4 gigahertz versus 5 gigahertz. We're going to talk about microwave. We're going to talk about other types of networking, Ethernet, Cat5e, the physical part of networking, the various stacks that are available and the rules around networking. And as I said, any one of these things you can take and run with it as a career. If you fall in love with networking in my IoT class, go for it, because those opportunities are also there. Well, also, you'll be getting your hands. This is one of the rare things that we do that I just don't find in many courses. You'll get your hands on hardware. Some of the things you'll get your hands on are SoCs, which are small computer chips. You may know them as Raspberry Pis or Arduinos. There's many others out there. Some of them are quite expensive and very small. I saw one the other day for $3,000. It's probably about the size of maybe half of your hand. But these SoCs serve a specific purpose, and they introduce you to the realm of things like diodes and resistors, and we talk about how to look at a diode and figure out the resistance, how to measure resistance, capacitance. Things that are taught normally in a hardware course that you need to know a little bit about in order to complete your project. But it's very important to get that full stack that I talked about earlier, understanding of soup to nuts within an industry and get your foot in the door of a job. If you knew that and the next guy or gal doesn't, you're going to get the job for sure, just by understanding the beginning and the ends of these things. We also talk about database management system. This is really my first love. I worked at a database company and used to teach this for a number of years. We talk about third normal form, which is the way you set up these things. And Sanjay talked a little bit about structured data and non-structured data, the Hadoops of the world, the NoSQL. And this is just, we'll talk about structured query language, using the language to access, manipulate, retrieve information from standard database systems, including Microsoft's SQL, Oracle. We can easily do Microsoft Access, and many of these systems are now available in the cloud as part of Azure and AWS. So, and we'll teach you the basics of that. So you walk out of the class knowing how to set these things up and how to use them for storing massive amounts of data and getting information out of that data. Sensors and actuators is another piece of the hardware we talk about. This is probably the most revolutionary area. If you look at me, I'm not a nerd, but I have two watches on. One is an Apple Watch and the other one is a Fitbit. The reason why I do is I compete with my wife on this one and my son on this one. But the sensor array that are on these technologies are only getting better, are so important to know about, because they're getting smaller, faster, better. That this can do electrocardiograms. It looks at my heart rate. It'll tell me in the next day if I had a good night's sleep or not, if I was in REM sleep. And it's using that information, that basic information about my heart rate, maybe the sound that's going on around me, to triangulate that into my sleeping patterns. And if I should be getting more sleep, or maybe not drinking coffee before bed, which is a no-no. So sensors and actuators are really the revolutionary area that we'll talk about. And this is where Greg Waters really is instrumental as being just an advocate and also an expert in this field early on in this course. The last but not least is IoT Security and Architecture. Yeah, you can slap an IoT device anywhere. They're inexpensive to build, make, put anywhere. You guys probably walk out of my classroom thinking I'm going to do a startup, and that's great. I'll encourage you to do that. But you also have to keep in mind of the IoT, the security standards, some of which has come out of the IT industry and have evolved over the years. There's different paradigms. I'll talk to you about those paradigms, how they're used, and certainly some of the mishaps that have occurred was devices were developed, deployed, and then they thought about putting security around them, which is a big backdoor to your systems. Some of the things we kind of like you to know, obviously communications, written communications. We're going to be communicating quite a bit in these courses. Some of the prerequisites. You don't really need a lot of math. I'm going to be taking a narrow dive in statistics as a reminder before we talk about data science. Statistics is one of those. If data science had three legs to hold up that table, statistics is one of those legs. Certainly domain knowledge would be the second one, understanding what you're seeing when you see it, and so forth. So we take a little narrow dive, but understanding of basic mathematics. And of course, we have an assessment exercise. So I'm just going to stop the share there. Mark, did you also want me to talk about my entrepreneur class as well?
Yes, please.
Very good. Okay, there's a natural nexus between me being an engineer. By the way, if you look behind me, you'll see my stack of equipment that runs my house. I have no less about 103 sensors in the house. I know kind of what's going on, and I've been doing a project every summer in order to make the house into a person, like it senses who's coming through the front door or what's happening in the back and that sort of thing. So I really love this stuff. But the other thing I really fell in love with after I did my first IPO was business. And so I teach an entrepreneurship class. And one of the things we do that's different, I think, than most other colleges is I can take you through the process of initial public offering. But more importantly, I throw in a flavor of Silicon Valley inside of this class. We're going to cover all the basics. We're going to talk about accounting. We're going to talk about the forms of businesses. We're going to talk about why you should start a business, sort of the markets, sizing, and so forth. All the basic stuff that you would find in what I used to call the bonehead business course. What's unique about this course is we talk about fundamentally what is driving the technology industry that you will be part of in one form or another. So the reason why you're taking technology classes, obviously, is to become part of that infrastructure, part of that environment. But I want to put a capstone in that by helping you understand why certain areas are growing and certain areas are not, what to look for, the telltale signs. And part of that is you're going to write a business plan. You're going to come up with a business idea, whether real or contrived or something you thought about. And you're going to come up with that business plan, and we're going to critique that business plan and put a business hat on you along with the technology hat. I really get excited about teaching that course because it's so fundamental. I think everybody, no matter what you're doing, should take that course. One more point I want to make is I hear from time to time, I'm not very good at math, this stuff is over complicated. That's wrong. You can do it if you put your mind to it. And the other thing is everything that you do, whether you decide to be an accountant, whether you decide to go into business, any area of business, or some of the liberal arts, you will be using computers. That's just, and we're not, you're using them a lot now. In the future, you're going to be using them all over the place. And understanding that full stack, soup to nuts, how things work end to end, is only going to help you secure a career and differentiate yourself from the competition that's out there. So that's really the two courses I teach, and a pleasure talking to you about it. If you have any questions, certainly we'll answer those questions. Back over to you, Mark.
Great. Thanks, Cecil. And, just to follow up on what Cecil was just saying, I always like to point out to people my educational background. So my undergraduate degree is in drama and communication. My master's degree is in education. So clearly I teach computer science. So the point I'm making on this is that I am now and have always been a computer geek. I wrote my first program when I was like, 7 or 8. I am absolutely a computer geek. However, I also, speak ordinary human speak. And I think one of the things that I'm pretty good at is the geek to human translator. And one of the things that we strive to do in the Technest program is to diversify tech, and by diversifying it, we mean not only, in terms of the, in terms of ethnic and getting more women, which absolutely we are trying to do, but also in terms of we need more, history majors in tech, and we need more art majors in tech, and we need more people who have diverse backgrounds in order to really succeed in the ultimate goal that we all kind of have. A couple of people in the chat have been mentioning some of these types of things, and so that's why I wanted to point that out. So even if you don't feel like you are, you feel like you have the technical background in order to really succeed, I can tell you, you probably do. And even if you think that you don't, well, then that's why you should come and take my CIS 106 class, so that I can prove to you that you actually do. So the one of the things that I wanted to go over before I talked a little bit about the Google IT professional certificate is just to really quickly go over again all of the certificates that we have related to these fields. So within the primary Technest program, we have it's actually technically called the Emerging Tech Entrepreneurship. And again, in order to get a level 1 certificate, you need to take CIS 106, 107, 108, and Business 68 that Professor Lawson was just talking about. To do the level 2, you need to do basically all of that, plus Business 82, plus one other course to increase your knowledge of data or programming. So there's a wide variety of CIS classes that you could take in order to do that. And then related to the Technest program are the business and data analytics program that Professor Sanjay was just referring to, as well as the Google IT professional that I wanted to talk about in just a moment. Talked about those, talked about that. So the Google IT specialist, and this is one of our newer programs that we've developed. Professor Sengal, Kindati Sengal, is the one that's in charge of this. He's not feeling so great. I know that he's on, but so I said that I would speak to on his behalf for this. So if I make any mistakes, Kidani, feel free to pop in. So for the Google IT certificate program, there are basically 5 courses that are taught basically all in one semester. They are the 140, which is the IT support fundamentals, 141, which is the bits and bytes of computer networking, 142 talks about operating systems, 143 talks about system administration and IT infrastructure, and then 144 talks about IT security. And the idea behind the Google IT certificate program is that it will give you the experience to be able to work as an IT professional, like as somebody in the IT services department of a company. And the specific stuff that we cover in those, so 140 talks about all of the entry-level introductory stuff having to do with IT support. 141 covers the basics of computer networking and how computer networks really work. And 142 talks about operating systems and the differences between Windows and Linux and the Mac OS and so on. And then 143 covers system administration. So this is one of the key components of a IT professional, is being able to manage the infrastructural parts of a company's computer networks and computer systems. And then 144 covers the basics of IT security. And all of these courses are put together by Google. And if you take all of the courses, not only will you get a certificate from City College, but you'll also get a certificate from Google that Google provides to people who have completed the systems. So those are really the stuff that we wanted to talk about regarding the Google IT professional stuff. Donnie, did you want to say anything further about that?
It's pretty much the Google IT certificate program is an introduction. So basically, once you complete 5 of them, you will get a certificate from San Jose City College. And also, if you complete all 5 of them within a year, Google will issue you a Google IT certificate. So that's industry level certificate. The Google IT certificate is different from Microsoft certification and different from the Cisco and Red Hat certifications. So Google make it easy for students. So what they did is, once you complete the courses, as long as you accomplish 80%, they will issue automatically the certificate. In case of Cisco and Microsoft, once you complete the program, you have to go to Cisco and Microsoft to take the test. So that was another work you need to do, but Google make it easy. So just all you need to do is allocate your time, enough time, and then study and work on this and complete, and then you will get the certificate, which is good. And also the good thing about this program is, Google, they come up with this certificate. Let's say if you want to start in IT field, you have to make a decision at the beginning. Either you're going to study a program, networking, operating system, security, or infrastructure, but you don't know. So what Google come up with this program, you will get from all 5 fields. From operating system, you will learn how to manage operating system. From network side, you will learn how networks work. From security side, you will learn how security works. From infrastructure, you will know how the infrastructure is implemented. So you will be diversified. Once you get the job, you have from all fields, and then you make a decision. Then you make the determination that, oh, okay, I'm going to be the operating system guy, or I'm going to be the network guy, I'm going to be the infrastructure guy. Then you specialize it. So if you want to go to the network, and then you take the Cisco courses, and then you become a network engineer. And then if you like the operating system, you can take the Linux program, and then you can be a Linux system administrator. If you get certified from the Red Hat in Linux, now it's like you get $70,000 or $80,000 a year as an introduction. Same thing, if you want to be security, you can go cybersecurity program. We're going to start a cybersecurity program. Then you can come back to San Jose City College and then take the cybersecurity program and then certified. Once you're certified, you can do your own, if you do study forensic analysis or ethical hacking or info system certifications. There's plenty of jobs out there. So to conclude, this program is a gateway for an IT. You will learn about all the IT fields. And then once you complete that, even before you get a job, once you complete all these 5 courses, you will have the feeling, oh, I am good at networking, and then I'm good at operating system. So you narrow down what your potential is. And then once you know what potential is, then you can take the field. Thanks, Mark, for covering. So I can answer if there's any.
Great.
Thanks.
All right. So the next part of what we wanted to cover today is to pass it off to our counselors. So I know that Julie is here. I know that Ben was going to try to be here, but I'm not sure if he is available right now, because he had a student that he needed to talk to. So Julie, would you mind?
Yeah. Can you show my slide?
Sure. Well, do you want to share? Do you want to share your slides, or do you?
I just added it to the. Yeah, you can share yours.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I will happily share. Just
okay. Okay. Hi everybody. My name is Julie. I'm one of the counselors dedicated to the CIS department and Technest. Our other counselor is Benjamin Granger. He's located in Milpitas Extension, and he had an appointment, so he had to run. But our presentation is very short. So I know a couple of you, so I'm glad you're here. But if you haven't met me before, it's nice to meet you. Thank you for coming to this orientation. There's a lot of information, and we know that it's so much to take in. And if you have any questions, feel free to contact any of us, instructors, faculty, and counseling, if you need help with anything. And we're happy to connect you to the right person or get you to what you need to do. So general counseling services that we offer, academic counseling, career planning and support. A lot of students do our programs or classes, and they spark interest in potentially getting a bachelor's degree at another college, and so we help with transfer to 4-year colleges as well. And then we also support in general with a lot of academic stuff, counseling processes and forms that students may have. So honestly, we're kind of more like a doorway. So definitely, if you don't know where to ask for help, whether it be financial aid, registration, resources for anything, Ben and I are a great connection, and we definitely connect students to various supports and programs on campus so that you get all the support that you need, especially if you have needs for technology
or other things that are going on in your life, because we know that right now with COVID and everything, that there is a lot of transition for people. So if there's anything that you need, I'm on the, not right now, I'm working from home, but usually I'm on the main campus in the technology building. And so we have appointments or drop in, or we can answer questions via email. And we do meetings through phone, through Zoom as well. So we're definitely accommodating to all of our students. And so, yeah, that's pretty much it. And we are going to help students with the registration process as well. So if you're new or you don't know how to do, like, add classes to your schedule, let us know. And we can either make an appointment, or I could send you the correct resources. So I don't know if anyone has any questions. That was my basic rundown too. So. But feel free to email me if you don't want to ask in front of the big group. That's my email right there, and Benjamin's email as well. So thank you.
Thanks so much, Julie. All right. So next up is actually I think we wanted to talk about the somehow all of our slides got moved around. Is to have Michael Castro talk for a moment about administration and records and what you guys cover in that.
Great. Thanks, Mark. Hi, everybody. I'm Michael Castro. I'm the Enrollment Services Coordinator here at San Jose City College, Milpitas Extension. I wanted to go over a really quick demo on our application process, because of course, before you get into these programs, you are going to have to be a San Jose City College student. It is about a 10 to 15 minute process, but I'll wrap this up as quick as I can with this demo. If I could share my video, Mark.
Yep, you are welcome to share.
Perfect. 1 second. I'm sharing my screen. Is that right? Great. And you can see the SJCC. Okay. So this is a really quick video on how to apply to the college. And I will play it right now. Except that it is not, the sound is not coming out, I don't think.
When you share your screen, did you check off the share sound?
Start your San Jose City College. Do you hear it? .edu on the front page, you'll want to click New Student Apply Now. That will take you to the application next steps page. It has great information in it if you want to read through it. But you'll want to click on the yellow tile and then create a new account. You'll go to this page, begin creating my account, then move into the actual account with your name, date of birth, and later will be your social security number. Why am I being asked for my social security number? It's to verify your residency status in California. Email address, telephone, you're welcome to receive texts or not, and permanent address. It'll ask if you live with your guardian or parent. It'll ask you to verify, continue. You put your information in and continue. Now, username and password is really important. That is how you're going to be creating the San Jose City College application. You also have a secret PIN and security questions just in case you get locked out of your account and you're able to get back in later. Now, this is your CCC ID, not your San Jose City College student ID. These are separate databases, and we'll show you the significance now. So continue. Now you're going to have to remember your username and your password that you had just created. You sign in, and now you begin your San Jose City College application. Go to the second part, which is start your new application. And there'll be one more step to start your application, which will lead you to your application tank. This will show all applications you've ever created for any community college in California. You start your new application, and then your enrollment information. So I'll stop really quick here, and I'll mention the enrollment. The semester you want to enroll in is for fall 2021. So that'd be this guy here. There'll be a couple of questions initially. When is your goal? And your major. There's many majors in there. One would be under computer information systems, so you may want to pick that. Or you may just be getting your AA. So it's up to you, but you would apply for the fall 2021 semester. And then you would move on to the next questions, which would be, oh man, I can't really see. Which may be your 221. Then continue and review your account. Social Security not provided. Remember that you will want to have your Social Security number on file so that you can go to registration without a hiccup. So that's important to understand, that your Social Security number is how we associate you with a California residency. If you don't put this in your initial account, then this may cause a few days for us to do your application and get it up to date. So you will want to have that on file if you can. So I would just mention that about your social, and then I'm going to skip over here to 232. And then there'll be a series of questions, and it'll be just like, were you in the military? Did you go to college in the past? Are you a returning student? So there's a lot of questions. So just follow those along in the application. And then at the end, there's going to be a digital community colleges. And then this is your digital signature. You will check these tick boxes and then submit my application after you go through a series of other questions. Then once you successfully submitted your application, you'll receive this confirmation along with 2 emails. One of the emails is from San Jose City College. The other will be from CCC Apply. The CCC Apply is going to show you again your ID for CCC Apply, not for San Jose City College. This is how you are able to reapply to colleges. The San Jose City College email is going to have your actual verification that you're now an active student, but also you'll have your MyWeb account where you register and your student ID number for San Jose City College, which is 7 digits, does not contain letters. It is 7 digits, it doesn't contain letters, and your MyWeb username. So that's kind of it in a nutshell to begin your process with doing the application for San Jose City College. Some of you may be returning students, so maybe you haven't come for a while, but you have a student ID number for San Jose City College, and your process will be very similar. Again, you should have emails, one of which is from San Jose City College regarding your student ID, but you'll also have your CCC Apply account. Remember, these are separate databases. These always get mixed up and conflated, so be careful about that. But if you are to go to reapply as a student who's been here before but haven't been here in a while, then you're going to want to go to New Student Apply Now, and then that's gonna jump to this page. And this is that yellow tile you're going to want to click on in order to get into your application. And once you do that, then you're going to want to use you're going to have to find this account to log back into CCC Apply, and then get back into your applications tank that you've already done. So once you do that, you'll be able to see your account and see all of the applications you ever created at San Jose City College. So these can be a bunch of steps together. I tried to make them as simple as possible. If you've never been to San Jose City College, you'll need to create a new CCC Apply account. If you've been to San Jose City College, you're going to have to log into CCC Apply and then apply to San Jose City College again. And that's it. That's pretty much it in a nutshell. If you have any questions, you can always feel free to contact me directly. I'll put my information in the chat, and I can walk you through it if you need help in the future. That's it for me, Mark.
All right. Thank you so very much. So next up we have we have Stephen Lee that I wanted to talk about employment services that that we have available. I know that that Work to Future was going to attend, but I got an email that said that Lawrence wasn't going to be able to make it after all. So maybe Stephen, if you could spend a few seconds talking about who they are and how they're related, that would be great.
Oh, actually, Mark, I do see Lawrence and Charlotte both listed here. They're actually in the Zoom meeting room. Or yeah,
Oh,
Zoom meeting room.
are they?
Yeah.
Okay, well,
Also, I'll be more than happy to introduce them after I'm going
great.
over my services. Yeah. So good evening, everybody. It's been a pleasure to meet you virtually. My name is Stephen Lee. I'm the Job Development and Placement Specialist. Before coming to the college, I used to be within technical recruiting for at least 5 years, recruiting for engineering roles at Tesla and their light industrial positions, whether it be involving the production line or working in materials handling. I also have experience working at Google, recruiting for the Google Cloud Platform team. So I want to bring some of that knowledge back to the students. So there are certain things that we can do to make your resume more marketable, sellable, and also by putting it yourself out there on LinkedIn Learning or LinkedIn the platform itself. So we'll be going a little bit over about what that is. So if you ever need any assistance writing, constructing, modifying, editing your resume, just know that I'm here as a resource to help you sort of polish that sort of version that you currently possess, to get it out there in front of the employers, to let them know that you're actively looking for employment. So that also includes cover letters. And if you have any issues with interviews, if interviewing isn't your strong suit, we can work on that. I am providing a service called mock interviews, where I'm inviting an industry expert to come ask you some of those behavioral, situational, and job-related questions as well. So it's going to be the best ways for you to prepare for when you actually do start actively interviewing for actual jobs out there. You'll be posed with some very difficult questions and some answers and critiques of how to actually tack and actually be able to know your approach of how you actually will go about answering that question. It's not necessarily about coming to the right answer, it's actually the approach of how you come to that answer as well. They want to know your thought processes and your methodology behind it, which is going to be partly because of our career education program, learning in the classroom setting and applying that knowledge to your actual project. So if you're ever worried about not having enough experience to go out in the field by taking a few classes with our Technest, just know it's all about the actual knowledge, sort of abilities and skills that you currently possess and how you apply that in your sort of classroom setting in the project basis, whether it's individual contribution for what you're contributing to your projects, or if you're working on a team dynamic as well. As long as you're able to list these projects of what you actually have done, you can actually showcase by uploading some of the coding sort of exercises that you've done, or any sort of like PowerPoint presentations to be able to use that as leverage to what you've been learning in classroom setting, to showing the employer what you can do with the actual job, what is listed on the job description. Other services I provide is telling you about our job board platform, College Central Network. That is our job board that we currently possess, that we have about 2,000 plus employers currently actively posting new jobs every single day. You can search for any parameters, whether it be part-time, full-time, internships, externships, volunteer work, non-paid, whatever the parameters that you're looking for, we'll have something for you. I'm also hosting the cumulative job fair with our industry partners, Work to Future, where I'm very excited. So with regards to LinkedIn, if you have issues creating your sort of profile, I'm here to assist you to go through each section to know what to put in your headline, what to put in your sort of a summary, what to put under educational history, things like that. We can go through each and every area to make sure that you have the ample information that's also going to coincide with your resume as well, to make sure that it's transparent, that there's no sort of qualms about whether the information that's on your resume and that is not on your LinkedIn profile. We have to make sure that there's some sort of cohesion, that they both are in alignment, to make sure that there's matching. Otherwise, there's going to be some red flags and some questions that might deter you to getting in the interview processes. We also are very excited to push LinkedIn Learning. That's about 1,600 expert-led courses where LinkedIn has invested by inviting some of these industry experts, by filming some of these learning paths, different courses, and instructional videos as well. So for example, if you're looking to create an elevator pitch or learning to better yourself in any software proficiency that you're currently readily available to have, whether it's Microsoft products, Access, Excel, PowerPoint, or Word, there are instructional videos that you can also watch and sort of expand on your, supplement into your sort of knowledge that you're getting from SJCC as well. After you can complete some of these learning paths, what a great way is that you can actually post your certificate of completion on your LinkedIn profile. So that will show the sort of roadmap, the trajectory of where you've been on LinkedIn learning and what types of courses are interest to your sort of parameters, whether it's relevant to your field of study or outside of that. They'll be able to see that, that's going to be supplemented into your sort of your academic experience, learning in the classroom setting, and also what you've done online as well. And of course, we're actually hosting the Cumulative Job Fair, so we're very excited. It's going to be happening this week, our Job Fair series. It's going to be Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, April 28th through the 30th. And we actually have segments of each particular, we have about 15 different CE programs that we support. First day is going to be business, accounting and finance, and also IT. Second day is going to be a lot of our allied health, so our medical assisting, dental assisting, EMS, and some of our public service positions and government related positions as well. Then our final day is going to be all of our trades. So whether you're interested in construction, machining, laser technology, HVAC and refrigeration, we have a day dedicated as well. So we want to make sure that you are going to be sort of registering if you're interested. I have included the bit.ly link that's on the flyer that's on the screen. Thank you, Mark, again. And so with that said, I want to introduce our industry partners, both Lawrence and Charlotte. If you can, go ahead and introduce yourselves and tell us about the great service that Work the Future is doing.
Thanks, Stephen, so very much. Charlotte, are you there? While we're finding out if Charlotte is still with us, let me take this opportunity to say again, thank you, Stephen. San Jose City College is a terrific partner of ours across multiple programs, and Steve is one of those very powerful presences that we're thrilled to work with on a variety of workforce development related activities. Work the Future is in the parlance of the industry, a local workforce development board. What you need to know is that Work the Future is an organization and an agency that's funded by the federal government to provide job seekers assistance, especially job seekers who are trying to make their way in new careers or in finding replacement careers in an ever-changing economy. And Technest is a key program in this area in terms of facilitating that kind of opportunity for individuals. We provide a variety of services, both additional training and learning opportunities, especially in what are called the soft skills or life skills area. So Stephen does a terrific job in helping you with things like resume preparation and interview preparation. We also have a team of what we call career advisors who work with individuals on those very kinds of skills. We also have a program that's aimed at helping individuals beef up their job search skills, learning to do it both in person as well as online, which is so very important today. And then we also recognize that in certain industries, actually, online job searching is actually not the key way of moving forward. So our career advisors can work with you in that regard as well. And then, very importantly, we provide the folks who come to us assistance with facilitating their educational and learning programs. So San Jose City College has a variety of programs that assist especially individuals coming from low-income backgrounds to be able to afford to be a City College student. We supplement that by also providing wraparound services that help you with books, materials, and so forth, if needed, for your success in the college program. And very importantly, we work with our partners, City College, and with our employer partners to try and source and support work experience opportunities for you so that you can actually add a very important work-based learning component to the classroom work that you're doing. As I gleaned from some of the questions and answers that were happening in the chat room, very often in this in a competitive employment environment, it's not just the classroom skills that you bring to the job search with you that are going to make the difference. It's being able to say that you've twinned that with actual hands-on experience. And part of our role is to support that opportunity, both financially as well as helping individuals find the companies that are going to provide them that opportunity. And that can happen concurrently with your classroom learning, or in the traditional sort of in-between or post-classroom internship environment. So all of those things are available through Work to Future. I'm sorry we weren't able to provide a slide for this afternoon's presentation, but as you can see there, very importantly, we have an interactive gateway, an interactive portal on our website, worktofuture.org. So you visit that website, you'll essentially have access to getting started on any one of our service tracks, and I invite you to do that. I invite you also to give me a call or give Charlotte a call, and to learn more about our program. And we'll be working very closely with our counterparts at City College to try and figure out how to facilitate a more streamlined approach for you as you move forward through this program. Charlotte, are you still there? Anything to add? If you're still on the call, I have to apologize. I'm not seeing the full participant list. I'm not sure if she's had to jump off. She has a tendency to attend a multiplicity of evening work-related meetings, so she might not have been able to stay on past a certain hour.
Yeah, I think she had to leave. But thank you so much, Lawrence.
Not at all.
All right. So the kind of the last bit of stuff that that we wanted to go over is as soon as I can find it, there it is. Let's see here. So if I do that, and then I do that, and then I do that, and then I do share. Is to bring on Christian Desmond, who is our Associate Dean, to talk a little bit about the business and workforce apprenticeship program, and to let us know all about that stuff.
Okay, well, thank you, Mark. Evening, everybody. So can you go to the next slide, please, Mark? Okay, so you've heard a lot about Technest over the past hour or so. And so what we've done is we've built an apprenticeship on top or as an extension of the already existing Technest program. So really, let's look at what is an apprenticeship real quick. A lot of times you'll hear apprenticeship, you'll hear internship, and in some ways they're similar, but they're also very different. So you can look at an internship as work experience, but it's going to be short term. Sometimes it's paid, sometimes it's unpaid. But really it's just getting your feet wet and getting familiar with a new type of career or type of work, or getting a little bit of experience. And now when you talk about apprenticeships, it's more than just getting your feet wet. It's more like learning to swim, because you'll be doing a one-year apprenticeship that'll culminate about 2,000 hours. And that's real life work experience, where you'll get an opportunity to partner with at least one employer, possibly a couple, over that time. And you'll essentially be a real employee that's a part of that company working putting what you use in the Technest program into real life application. So that's really what it is. Once you get to about 3 or 4 courses down completed, you can start thinking about transitioning to an apprenticeship. If it's something that you're interested in, you can always email me and I will send you the information on how to register and get in our system. It was mentioned earlier that the pandemic has slowed things down in terms of the economy, and as a result, the tech industry has been impacted. So at least if we have your name, your number, and your information, when those openings become available and we're able to place you, then we know who to reach out to and contact to get that going. But some of the benefits of apprenticeship would basically be it's customized training, it meets the industry needs. You're learning exactly what is current, you're not learning anything that's outdated, and it's going to be tailored for each business. And so what's unique about Technest and this type of industry is a degree and a certification is very valuable. The work experience and that component of building up your portfolio is just as valuable. And that's what you need to really get your foot through the door and get you to move on to the next level. So it'll help you increase your knowledge. Apprentices, it's no guarantee that you will keep the job after your apprenticeship, but 91% of apprentices are still employed 9 months after the apprenticeship. So it is a very likely chance. There's a high rate of completion and retention, because really when an employer is going to invest that amount of time in you, they're willing to keep you and they want to keep you. And they're training you to become a long-term employee for that organization. And it's a stable, reliable place for recruiting if you're an employer. And it's a systematic approach. Apprenticeships have been around since the beginning of time. And recently, the state of California has taken a new or kind of enlightened approach, where by 2025, their goal is to have about 500,000 apprentices in the entire state. So we're doing our small part, but this is something that is got a lot of support from the state level. And it's also something that has a lot of support from employers. And it's really proven to be a really great way of training people. Mark, can you do the next slide? So when you get into the apprenticeship, this is kind of how it breaks down. So when you're doing that on-the-job experience and you're putting into practice what you've been learning, part of that is going to be relating to software development, about 400 hours. You'll have programming, 600 hours, debugging and software testing, about 400 hours, operation system analysis, 300, and object-oriented design, 300. Now, that doesn't necessarily, you're going to do every single one of these in that order. Like, I'm going to do the first 400, check that box, and move to the next 600. This might all kind of like flow and mingle together, but when you're done with the entire process, this is kind of a breakdown of what you would have covered in your experience. Mark, please. So if you have any questions, my information's up there. Feel free to reach out to me anytime. You can also feel free to reach out to Stephen as well. But I will definitely get you the information on how to register and get your name in the system if this is something that you want to pursue. Is there any questions that anyone might have? No questions? Oh.
All right. Well, the final thing that we wanted to do was to talk about what other questions people have about anything. And one of the things to remember is that both CIS 106 and CIS 107 start 2 weeks earlier than the rest of the campus does. So we start, those are both 18-week classes instead of 16-week classes. So those classes start actually on August 15th. And then, the rest of the courses start on August 30th, the regular start of the semester. So in order to enroll in the courses, again, you can either click on use your camera to click on this guy right here, which is the QR code that's going straight to the assessment, or again, it's been placed in the chat, but I can put it back in into the chat. Let's see, copy and paste, send to everyone. So again, that is the link, and actually I can even just go in and put it also here as well. I guess paste. So some of the one of the questions in the chat was, are there any summer courses? And unfortunately, these are all fall courses. There are a number of CIS courses that are available during the summer, and in fact, some of them are actually related to the Technest program. So I would encourage you to sign up for one of the summer courses if that's something that you need. And Tom writes that will the courses be transferable? I mean, ultimately, it's up to the college that you are, or the university that you're transferring to make those determinations whether or not they will accept those courses. However, I can tell you that that CIS 107 is fully articulated with Data 8 at UC Berkeley. So taking CIS 107 is the equivalent of taking Data 8 at Berkeley, and CIS 106 is also articulated with both the UC and CSU schools. And then, of course, all of our regular courses are all CSU transferable. So they should transfer, but whether or not they do, of course, is up to the
I can answer this question.
Yeah.
I'm also the business counselor, FYI, if anyone needs help with business accounting related stuff. So I would say the transferring or getting that degree in business administration is completely different. So the classes that you need for that degree, or if you're pursuing a bachelor's degree and transfer for that route, are completely different than the Technest programs. So the only overlap would be CIS 107, which can be used as a math course for transfer for the general education courses, but you do have to take stats and business calc for business. So yeah, it was completely separate.
Other questions that people have? All right. Well, I am going to go ahead and stop the recording then. Thank you all for coming. I'll stick around and answer anybody's individual questions if you have any afterwards, but otherwise, thanks for coming, and we hope to see you in the fall.
Thanks, guys.